Richly spiced, oh so intriguing. Oh my goodness, this Singapore classic fish head curry is right up there with one of my favorite dishes in the world. And then we have the most beautifully colored, delicate pandan pancake filled with the most delicious coconut filling. These are two of my favorite Singapore classics, fish head curry and Kueh Dadar. Singapore is actually one of my most favorite eating cities in the world, and like I eat in a lot of cities typically. I love it so much. I love the diversity. I love how dynamic the food is. I love that you can be eating foods from so many different cultures and histories, Indian, Malay, Chinese. You can be eating hawker center food. You can be eating in Michelin-starred restaurants. I love it all. Today, I am gonna cook you guys two of the classics. Fish head curry, which I actually had when I visited Singapore at the famous Banana Leaf Apollo restaurant. I'm sure there are many discussions about who has the best fish head curry, but I loved that one. And then a very special pandan pancake, which we will get to a little bit later on. But let's get on to the fish head curry first of all. So I've had my chilies soaking in some hot water here. You want to soak them so they're much easier to handle. Squeeze out the chilies, they should be a little soft, and then cut them up. Scissors are the easiest thing to use. That chili soaking liquid, save that, we'll need that for later. Now I also need some shallots, garlic, some ginger, and a really big dash of salt here. Now get this going on your blender. And now here's the thing with making spice pastes or curry pastes in your blender. You typically need a little bit of help because the blender's not kind of catching all the ingredients. Just grab a little bit of that chili soaking liquid and spoon that in. Awesome. Okay, so I have my spice paste now. Now I love how this already has that beautiful rich red color, which is going to make all the difference in our finished sauce. But what I do need to add now is a little bit of turmeric. Now I always like to add the turmeric after I've used the blender because otherwise you stain your blender. Okay, so I'm gonna heat up my pan here. Now guys, please, if fish heads aren't your thing, I know they're not for everyone, you can actually use snapper, which is used a lot in Singaporean restaurants as well. So you can try it out that way too, but don't miss out on the beautiful flavors. All right, speaking of flavor, I have some mustard seeds here that need to go on my oil and some fenugreek as well. Okay, so we have that going. Now I'm gonna go in with my spice paste. Now you want to cook your paste off for a little bit longer than you would think. So you want to give this time to really cook down and mellow out a little and probably, you know, give it like 6 or 7 minutes. Keep stirring though, you don't want the spices to burn, but there will be a little secret here for knowing when the paste is ready. All right, so I'll tell you the secret. The secret is the chili will make you cough. No, if you have a look in here, you'll see that we're now starting to get some oil separation. So those ingredients in the paste have cooked and are now starting to separate away from the oil. That's how we know the paste is ready. And I've got some curry powder as well. Okay, so I'm gonna pop in my lemongrass now and some curry leaves. Just give those a mix. Now I'm going to add in some liquid, so I just want some water. Now we're going to get to the seasoning part. So I typically think about seasoning for Asian dishes like this sort of curry or Southeast Asian dishes. I think of the seasoning as salt and sugar. So first of all, I'm going to add some palm sugar. Sugar goes in, salt, tamarind. So tamarind's going to give us a lovely sour flavor, just a little tang. So our sauce is already looking so beautiful and rich and lovely. Oh, I love that color. Now I'm gonna go in with some eggplant and now my fish head. So the fish head is interesting. So the reason or the story behind this beautiful dish was you had an Indian chef in Singapore who wanted to please his Chinese customers who he knew loved steamed fish head. So he created an amazing curry and used the fish head in the curry. So there you go. Thank you, Mr. What was his name?
Mr. Gomez.
Mr. Gomez. Mr. Gomez, really? So thank you, rich cultural history of Singapore, for bringing us this amazing dish. So at this point, I want to give all those ingredients time in there to make friends. So I'm just going to pop a lid on and that's going to allow my eggplant to soften, the fish head to cook through. We're going to leave it for about 20 minutes. Okay, so it's smelling really amazing in here. I love it. I'm very excited. Shall we have a look? That looks good. All right, so the rest of our vegetables need to go in, and tomato. Now you just need to give those vegetables another 10 minutes or so until they've just softened a little bit. Everything in here is pretty much done. Now, this is a little optional extra that I'm adding in. There are versions of fish head curry that don't use coconut milk. I'm gonna add some in today. Just a little drizzle here. Give that a mix. And there you go, guys. I mean, I think this looks really beautiful. I love the color of that sauce. I love the spicing and all the flavors. And I love the fact that it's a beautiful, diverse mix of flavors and cultural influences right there in the one dish. All right, so I am incredibly happy with my fish head curry. Now let's make something a little bit sweet. So the name Kueh Dadar might be a little unfamiliar to most of you outside of Singapore. So it's a tea time snack. It comes from Nyonya cuisine. To me, it's just a really lovely, delicious snack to have. So let's get on to making it, because there are a few little tricks to preparing the pandan and getting that beautiful color. So we'll do that a bit later. First of all, let's do the coconut filling. So I'm going to get started on grating my coconut. Now you could use fresh coconut like I'm using, or you can actually find chunks of frozen coconut as well these days. Now one of the really important flavors in the filling is the palm sugar. So just take your palm sugar and just shave it off. Now you need to place your palm sugar just into a saucepan, and you need some water. And then the flavor, like the really distinctive flavor here for both the pancake and the filling, is pandan. So pandan leaves look like this. Now the best way to sort of extract the flavor from these fresh leaves is to make sure that you've kind of bruised them a little bit, because that sort of starts to release all of the fragrance and the essential oils. And the other trick is to just tie them into a knot, because again, by sort of like pulling and rubbing those leaves, you're releasing all those beautiful oils. Now that's going to go into our pot, and you just want to cook that until the sugar has melted. Then you can go ahead and add your coconut. All right, so you just want to cook this until the coconut kind of takes on all the color and flavor of that syrup. So if you have a look here, you can see there's just still little remnants of that syrup just in the bottom there, but that coconut has really taken on all of that lovely flavor and color. Now just one final little pinch of salt here. And the salt will really bring out that like lovely deep sweetness actually in the palm sugar flavor. Okay, so this can come out into a bowl, and you want to let it cool down completely. And now we can make our pandan pancakes. So I say pancake, it's probably more similar to a crepe. And there's a particular way though that we need to prepare the pandan in order to extract the sort of color and flavor first of all. So take my pandan leaves, and the easiest way is just to use scissors and just cut them into your blender. Add a little bit of water, and then just blend until you've got a really dark green kind of liquid, and all of those leaves have really blended down very fine. Now you need to strain this really well. So what I like to do is just pour it into a strainer lined with some cheesecloth, and then just give it a really good squeeze. Now I only need about 1/4 cup of liquid here, so I'm just gonna pour that into a measuring cup. And to that I'm gonna add some coconut milk, some eggs, and a little pinch of salt. For my dry ingredients, I have some plain flour, some sugar, and a little pinch of salt here. Just give that a mix. And now pour your wet ingredients into the dry. Now your batter may look a little on the pale side at this point, particularly if you've used fresh pandan leaves, whereas the essence can be really like bright green. So that's why you'll see a color difference, but these will actually turn a little more green as they cook, interestingly enough. Now the cooking involves a little bit of technique here. So I just want to add a little bit of oil first of all. And the idea with these crepes is that you really don't want them to brown at all. They should just set so that they maintain their beautiful bright green color. So here we go. Let's see if I can manage it. I like to pour a little bit in the middle and then move the pan around as you're pouring. And the thinner, the better here. And then that looks lovely. I can sort of just see if you just flip that over. You can see we've got a lovely cooked crepe here, but it's not brown. So let's lift it, flip it over. Just let it set for like half a minute, not even on the other side. And there we go. So now we just keep going with a little bit of oil and all of our crepe batter till we have finished it all off. All right, so you have your beautiful green crepes and they are very delicate, so just pick them up carefully. Now add a fairly generous amount of your coconut filling. And then basically we're kind of rolling like spring roll style here. So fold the sides in. Just a little bit more delicate than a spring roll wrapper, and then just roll, roll, roll. And there you go. Now I'm just gonna grab one of these and let's cut one open so you can see what it looks like inside. Ah, perfect. That lovely thin layer of that green pandan pancake. And then inside, the most beautiful sweet coconut flavor. Let's see. That is just so good. Oh. And what I love about dishes like this is that they just transport you, you know, to another place. Like I'm instantly in Singapore when I'm eating this. I love it. The only thing better than eating it here would be eating it in Singapore. You wanna come try some?
Very nice.
Did I do a good job?
The flavor is good. I'll take it with me.
Okay. Hey guys, if you love food, cooking, travel, green pancakes as much as I do, then please hit the subscribe button and that little bell notification so that you always know when I'm releasing something delicious. Bye, see you.